channel where all videos are about inspirational and motivational things to help change your ways of life and get you to become the best version of yourself. I'm your host, Amelie Grace, and today we're doing a little get to know me video. We're also joined with my cat. She likes to sit on the table a lot and then she'll come and sit on my lap a bit, so she's our little guest for today. Her name's Missy. I've had her for a few years. So I guess this is the first little get to know me. Today we're just going to be talking about like some basic things on what my full name is, where I live, what my family is like, as well as hobbies and interests, things like painting and Japanese, to how I started YouTube. Her claws hurt a lot. She also really likes these too. So let's get into it. My full name is Amelie Grace Mickeljohn. I am from Scotland and Britain, I'm pretty sure, but there's also flecks of like French and Spanish and Dutch. My last name is Scottish, however my first name is actually French. My parents decided to name me after a really cheeky French movie because they thought that their kid would be really cheeky. Turns out that is true. I am quite a jokester, a prankster. I love pranking my boyfriend MJ that there are toads when he's walking down the driveway at night. Freaks out. My dad and my mum try and scare him when he comes around the door. So that's kind of like our family. We're very, very casual, very cheeky. I have grown up on the Gold Coast my whole life. I live in Australia. You could probably tell by my accent, but I really, really love it here. The beach is just around the corner, same with the forest, it's literally right on my doorstep. So sometimes I have the choice to go to the beach, or if I want to go and connect with nature, there's literally a water walk at the top of my street, which is just beautiful. It looks out into the valley and I feel so grateful that I'm able to live here. This is my cat, Miss. We got her because I used to dog walk for this lady down the street when I was in year 7 and year 8. And she ended up leaving her husband and wanted to move out, and she needed somewhere for the cat to go. And so we decided to take the cat, and she is so sweet. She's very, very cuddly, she's very, very talkative, and she's my favorite in the whole wide world. Let me see. She's very, very cheeky though sometimes. She acts like a dog, I swear to God. I also went to high school and primary school. I went to primary school out in the valley, and then I went to high school right on the beach. I'm going to university in the city, so I've had a bit of everything. I'm going to the top university in Australia, UK University, to study marketing and Japanese. And I chose to do marketing because I am wanting to be my own boss and have many of my own businesses. And I feel that marketing is something that I would love to do myself, because I'm going to hire people, God, her fur. I'm going to be hiring people who are better at me than marketing, but I would like to get into it because it really, really intrigues me. Now I'm filled with her fur. And I chose Japanese as an elective because I've been speaking Japanese for like 7 years, I think. I used to study it a lot in high school. However, now that I've graduated, I'm almost a year out of graduation now, feels crazy. I have lost probably about 60% of my Japanese skills. God, her fur is just everywhere. I've lost 60% of my Japanese skills. I used to talk so much Japanese where it felt like English. I've also been to the country and it just felt like home. I actually wanted to move there a few years ago, but after visiting with my mum, I had very much like a big issue with the food, because I'm vegetarian and I really pride myself on eating healthily. So, you know, your acai, your fruits, your veggies. And I just found it very, very difficult over there to find those things. And a lot of the times we were stuck with eating like rice or ramen or anything like that. I'm going over again in February with my boyfriend. We're taking a 3-week trip over there. So this time I'm going to try and find the best cafes, restaurants, anything that will have vegetarian and healthy food, so that I can feel a little bit better about the concept of moving there. I've been into many things, but right now, what has stuck with me is my art, my Japanese, content creating and editing, anime and K-dramas, wellness and beauty and fashion. So I've been in the fashion game for like a while, and my fits have been leveling up for a long time, and I decided to start dressing like my dream grand, successful businesswoman, assertive, very like money kind of version of myself. And I started YouTube because I was thinking, I need to have my own business. I love being creative. That's the short story. I'm about to go into the long story, but that's the short story. As I said, I've been studying Japanese for about 7 years, so naturally I kind of got into the anime, and at first I literally hated anime. I just wanted nothing to do with it. But now I love, probably my favorite animes are Jujutsu Kaisen, Kimetsu no Yaiba. I love Horimiya and Kaguya-sama. Haru no Hataraku Shira. I love, 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 love that anime. I literally like painted the flower scene with the clouds and it's hanging up in my room. I love that anime so much. I have gotten into K-dramas as well. I have picked up Korean really easily actually, to my surprise. And I think that's because I've studied Japanese, so languages like Korean, Chinese and Japanese, they're quite similar with the way they structure their sentences and their words. So Korean became really easy for me to pick up. And because I was watching so many K-dramas, and because those episodes go for like an hour and there's 16 episodes, I picked it up pretty easily and I was able to have like basic conversations when I was really in my grind for K-dramas. I stopped watching it, but now I'm back into it after watching We're All Dead Now with MJ, and I'm like, I remember everything. But for some reason, my Japanese hasn't came back. For like, I just don't get that. I don't understand. What are you doing, Missy? But I am really excited to go to Korea one day. I really, really want to go. I also love K-pop. I used to be really, really into it when I was in year 11. However, now I just kind of like listen to bits and pieces of it. But I still have my heart with Stray Kids. I went to go see them in Melbourne when I was in year 11, or was it year 12? I can't remember. The years go by so quickly now that I'm out. So I went to go see them, and there was actually the best story because Holly and I, the girl that I went with, we were walking around the street going to get some boba, and then we went to like the place where Stray Kids went to just go on like this graffiti street, and it had like a whole bunch of graffiti just for Stray Kids, and it was just insane. And we just stumbled upon that for some reason. Like we wanted to find it, but we had no idea where it was. Stumbled upon it, walked around a little bit, went down the street, and we saw all of these fans like with the Skiz shirts and everything, and they were right there at the hotel about to come out. So Holly and I were waiting for like 45 minutes for them to all come out, and we saw Felix, Chungmin, and I think Ian came out last, but all the rest were already either there or about to leave like a lot later. But it was literally the best. Like we were right at the front, and I got video footage of this, and it was just made my day. It made me feel so great. And then we went to watch them, and the concert rippled and just was all throughout my bones. Like it got to my soul. And I have also gotten MJ into K-dramas and K-pop as well. He likes Stray Kids, but he also really likes ENHYPEN. He's loving Kiss of Life and New Jeans, and he's also really liking the K-R&B that I've shown him into as well. Like he loves PH1. A little bit about my wellness journey. So I have had a lot of mental issues, especially when I was in year 8, and then it came back in year 10. I went through a lot of things to do with like eating. So I was struggling very, very heavily on my self-worth, and I was constantly binge eating and then starving. So I had to go through that, but for some reason, I don't know how it happened, and I count myself very, very, very lucky that this has happened to me, but I didn't have to go see anybody, I didn't take any pills, but it just went away. And I started to just become more positive mentally. And then because of this, I started wanting to eat a lot more healthily after going through my issues with eating and eating bad food, like in my deeming bad food, like sugary things and stuff. I decided to eat more healthily, have more fruit and vegetables, and start watching my portions and everything, because I was eating too much of something, and I knew that to be true, not like a clouded judgment kind of thing. Now, what my lifestyle looks like with food and exercise is I love to indulge in Pilates. I'm not yet consistent with it, but that is my goal to get there. I am also loving having a morning matcha. That's like my go-to. It's just amazing. It makes me feel so great instead of coffee all the time. I also love having acai. My partner and I love going and making acai in the morning, or we like to go on a hot girl walk and go get some acai or have some breakfast out. I also love spending my time out in cafes and doing some editing and having some nice and yummy food while I'm there. I also really, really enjoy baking and cooking my own meals. I've had stir fries for a very long time in my family, and at some point I got sick of it. So I was like, I'm gonna start cooking some really interesting meals. I've made gnocchi twice, fully from scratch. Like I made the dough and everything from it. It tastes so good. And then I made it at MJ's place, and it was like this lemony, zesty flavor. My favorite. Out of 10, it's a 10. It's just delicious. So if you need a gnocchi recipe, please let me know and I'll give it to you because it is just so good. But be mindful, if they tell you it takes an hour, it does not. It takes like 5. So just be prepared for that. So how I started YouTube was actually kind of really interesting in my eyes. So I was in year 11 and I was in my spare class meant to be studying Japanese, but I was just out of it that day. So I was scrolling on my phone and a lot of like this financial stuff started coming up on my For You page. And I was like, oh yeah, I want to be rich, I want to be rich. But at that time I was looking for like the get rich quick scheme, which is not how you do money. That's not how you become financially wealthy at all. You need to play the long game. So I was looking at that, and then it started to come up with the mindsets and the mindfulness and the morning routines that the wealthy do every single morning to ensure that they make the best of their days. So what I started to do was just not care about the money part, but focus on the morning routines and what they did. So every single morning after that, I would get up at like 5 a.m. and I would have the most amazing morning. I would go down to the beach on some days. I would do Pilates down there. I would go for a walk, watch the sunrise because it was like around winter at that time. And then I would have a shower. I would make acai. I would have a matcha. I would do some reading and I would do heaps of things that allowed me to have more control over my day and more control over my emotion. Because of this, my perspective on school, myself, and everybody else around me changed from one being really negative to one being positive and uplifting. My dialogue internally went from treating myself like I am an outsider, I am not meant for this, I'm bad at this, tearing myself down, to I am the best version of myself right now. This is where I am meant to be right now, nowhere else, and I am doing the best I can. Because of my drastic change with my mindset, I began to realize that so many other teenagers in high school were going through hardships and needed the advice that I knew that I had to give and that everybody else loved hearing from me. So I decided to start up Instagram, and I did this all day, every day. Like, this just lit me up inside. I was so excited to create content. I grew really, really quickly on Instagram as well. And I had no idea how to market. I had no idea how to do reels or start anything. This was the first time I ever made content with the professional intent. I did so well. I was literally having the best time in my life. I was journaling every day. I was connecting with the most amazing people, and I made beautiful friends online who were very, very supportive. But then, because I did it 100% of my time, like I just said, I had a burnout. And of course that's gonna happen because I didn't allow balance for anything else in my life, like resting, like having me time, like going and spending time with my family, or even studying a little bit more than what I was because I was so focused on my content. And because of this, it took about, I think I finished at the end of year 11 with this content, and I picked content up in general probably at the middle of year 12. So it took me a really long time to get back into it. And the reason why I got back into it is because that whole time I was out of making content, I had like this guilt inside me, and I was like, I know I'm meant for this. I know that I am meant to help other people, and I know that I can do it. But I was so scared on creating content again because I didn't want to have a burnout in the middle of year 12, and I didn't want one anyways, no matter where I was in life. So I was also scared of that. And because it failed, in my deeming, in my mind back then, it failed. It really didn't. So I was scared of it failing again, and I was scared of judgment because now I was completely alone in year 12. I didn't have a friend group, so I was scared of people judging me because I'm deemed a loner in school when I was actually quite happily busy studying and doing my own stuff then. But I didn't want people to have an opinion of me, but at the same time, I completely forgot that I can't make everybody happy. I have to make myself happy. So I decided to get back into it, and I created content for a little bit on Instagram, but I was still very, very, very scared of doing it and just posting. So I kind of took a hiatus again from that and decided to loop around, rebrand, and just think of something that would give long form content for advice. Because I also found that doing things on Instagram, like reels or posts, was a little bit too short and it wasn't very personal. And I found that YouTube actually created a platform that I would be able to do this And at that time where I decided to do it, I was watching Tam Kerr, I was listening to Jade and Haley podcast, I started watching Michaela Mag's videos, like they are so aesthetic with her uni life, it feels very, very personal. And because she's a uni student and around my age, it felt like I really could do YouTube in this new stage that I was kind of walking towards. So I started creating all of these ideas for videos, and I started watching a load of videos on how to do YouTube, things to know for YouTube, how to edit, because I have never done editing before. Like I've never touched it, never knew anything about it. All I know was from my friend Sakura, who told me about CapCut for Reels. I literally edit all my videos on CapCut. I'm looking to find a new software though, just because my iPad can't really handle it that well. And I'm editing on an iPad. I don't have a computer or anything that can do this. My phone is currently broken to the max. Like the screen is literally black, it freezes. And it's a Samsung, right? So I also had to go through the belief of my phone's not good enough, I can't film, so therefore I'm not gonna film. And because of having a Samsung and in my deeming the video quality wasn't good enough for me, I had to go from I can't film to I don't have the phone that I want right now, so I have to film anyways. Otherwise, I'm not gonna get anywhere and I can't wait for X to arrive to do something. So I have to do it now. And now when that phone arrives, I'm going to be so much better at editing, at videoing, at creating content than I ever was if I waited for that to happen. So I had to go through that as well. So I started creating all of these ideas and I was planning upon planning for months. And by the time I started my YouTube journey, I had met MJ and he was constantly helping me out, supporting me because it was so tough going through this. I had to combat fear of failure, judgment, procrastination. I also had to go through self-comparison, jealousy, envy, FOMO, because Tam Kerr and Jade and Haley have such great content and great following. And I was just like, just because they have it took me a few months to get here though. Just because they have it does not mean that there's any less of it for it to go to me. I am completely different from both of these women. They are both amazing, but my content is mine. If I'm trying to copy Tam Kerr, I'm never going to get ahead because she's Tam Kerr. She can't copy me because I'm Amelie Grace. We are completely different. And now I've gotten to the point of doing YouTube every single week where I record a video, I edit. I've had huge stuff ups. I've had moments where I feel like I can't do it still. And that's because I'm human. I'm not some perfect person. I don't have the greatest life. I love my life, I'm grateful for it. There are ups, there are downs, there are parts where I wish it just would not happen. But without those, I would not be the person that I am today. And I'm so grateful for the community that has been growing because of this. I'm really, really excited to continue giving self-development advice to a bunch of women who need it. I also found that the core reason for creating my YouTube account was because I'm a teenager and a lot of the self-development content that I was consuming was not tailored enough for teenagers going through high school. And because I had such a challenge going through high school, I know that I needed to specificate my content for this. So this is a place where teenagers can come and know that the content on this page is tailored just for you. This is where you can feel like you can really make a change no matter where you are in life, even if you have graduated like me, even if you are in year 7, or even if you are just about to start uni. It's okay. And you can change. There is always the choice to be better. Someone asked me where I see myself in 5 years and where I see myself in 10. So I am 18, turning 19, so let's just class that I'm 19 because it's only in a few months. So then I will be 24 in 5 years and 29 in 10. And honestly, that just really doesn't feel right. Like I still feel like I'm 16. There is no way in hell. I feel like I should be close to 20. Like I'm 20 next year, what? That makes no sense. Like I keep teasing my boyfriend because he's 20 in December. My cousin's currently 20. It just does not feel right at all. But in 5 years, I see myself have graduated from UQ and moved out already. I don't know where this is gonna be because I have always wanted a really big apartment with lights and fresh air and space, love, creativity, and just fun. But you know, could this be on the Gold Coast? Could this be in Japan if my trip goes really well? Could this be in Italy? I have no idea where this is gonna be, but I know that the location does not matter as long as I have that lifestyle that I know that I want, which is the healthy lifestyle, the going out for a walk, the ability to have 2 pets in the apartment, the ability to have loads of space where I can fill up the closet with my clothes, because me and MJ are both into fashion and that is like a big necessity in our household to have like a massive walk-in wardrobe. So there's also going to be that. But I do see myself being really, really successful by this time because I would have been doing YouTube for about 5 years. Literally today, just before I started recording this video, got my Arbonne package to start being an independent consultant with them. So that's network marketing. So I'm also getting into that, which I would have been doing for 5 years by that time. But at the same time, I don't really have like a set goal. Like I don't have like in 5 years, I'll have 5 million followers. Like, no, I don't really have that. But in saying that, I do feel very inspired to now create a 5-year goal so that it kind of refines my everyday to-dos more towards that goal. And in 10 years, I will be 29. So I definitely would have been graduated by now. I also would have been married by now. I would have had my honeymoon as well, all around the world with MJ. And I think like, yeah, again, I don't really have like a set goal, but I know in 10 years, multi-millionaire, I know that that's gonna happen. Like a few hundred million at least is what's gonna happen because I'm very savvy with my money. But I do know that whatever goal I end up setting, I do know that it is going to be big because that's the kind of person that I am. I always do something that people think I can't do, like literally creating YouTube and being my own boss. I remember going through high school and a lot of people telling me like, you gonna be okay? What are you gonna do for your daytime job? No, this is my daytime job. Like this is the kind of stuff that I do. I do big and I do grand and I tell people that I'm gonna do it anyway. So I know that it's going to do that, but I don't know what it is, and I'm really, really, really excited to get there and achieve it from where I am now because I am just starting out YouTube. I currently live at home with my parents. I'm about to start uni, so I can't wait to see where I get in 10 years. So thank you so much for coming and watching my Get to Know Me video. I'm really, really excited to get to know every one of you and get to understand where you are now in your life and what you need assistance with to become just better. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you are new, and leave a comment down below. If there was anything you would like to hear from me for a future video or anything else that you want to know me, I will comment down below and help you all out. All of my social media is also linked in the description, as well as other videos that I have made that have helped me understand what I wanted to do after high school. And I also made a video tailored for self-comparison and for combating your fear of failure. Those are both linked in the description for you to watch after this one. Bye!